Hello, everybody out there in Facebook land. Hello, everybody out there in the YouTube verse. Hello, everybody out there on every social media platform. Today, we are talking about a different subject. My name is T. Will. I am a member and also the owner of the channel For My ATL Sports 1 on YouTube. Again, the number 4, My ATL Sports number 1 on YouTube. We talk about Atlanta sports teams. So essentially anything Falcons, Braves, Hawks, Atlanta United, Georgia Bulldogs, Atlanta Dream. We talk about it. But today's topic is not about sports. Today's topic is about the movie Sinners. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. There's been some recent criticism of the movie, and this is an attempt to combat it. I am going to be very mindful as to what I say, as, sometimes I'm just going to be mindful as to what I say. But if you follow along, you will get the gist of what I'm saying. So if you've not seen the movie Sinners, it is one of the best films I've ever seen in my life. It's very easily the best film I've seen in the last 5 years. It takes place in the 1930s in Mississippi, the heart of Jim Crow. And it is essentially about two brothers, Smoke and Stack, who are played by Michael B. Jordan. And they are attempting to open a juke joint that they have just purchased back in their hometown. They had apparently lived in Chicago for some years. They were former soldiers who came back from the war and worked for some gangsters in Chicago. And I don't want to give the movie away, but they opportunistically came upon some resources or funding for this business venture of theirs, and here it starts. Okay? To me, again, the movie is great. It talks about a couple of things. Number one, it talks about music. And what is key to the movie is essentially that music in its purest form. There are certain artists, there are certain people who the music that comes from them is so pure, it transcends time and space. And it acts as a conduit for spirits to travel. Okay? That's an important key in this movie. Spoiler alert, if I do give out any spoilers, I'll try and warn you. I'm going to try not to. But essentially, the music is a very focal point of it, because it essentially says that the music, right, from certain groups of people that they describe at the beginning of the movie, but essentially the music acts as a conduit, okay, to other spirits, and in some ways a way to communicate with other spirits, be them ancestral, be them whoever, okay? But it acts as that, okay? The movie's also about vampires. So these vampires essentially show up, and I guess being a vampire, you're essentially dead walking the earth. So your body is alive, but your soul is trapped within your body. All right? In this movie, from this experience, from Ryan Coogler's description in the movie, your soul is essentially trapped in your body. Okay? And look at the main character, Reddick, whatever his name is. Anyway, he hears the music from Sammy, who is the cousin of Smoke and Stack, at the juke joint. And it's so pure that he says, you know what? If I can just get to this music, if I can make this music mine, I'll be able to communicate with my ancestors. I'll be able to communicate with folks that have long Anyway, lost my train of thought. Anyway, that's the premise, right? That's kind of what's setting this up. I'm not going to give you any more of the plot. But the great part about the movie, and there are lots of great parts about the movie. Number one, the performance of Michael B. Jordan. You literally forget that this is one person playing a twin. You literally forget that. Okay? That you literally forget that. Smoke and Stack have two distinct personalities, and Michael B. Jordan does a great job of conveying this, right? Some other things that I liked about the movie. There's a Delta Slim, who's played by Delroy Lindo, who is a musician, a harmonica musician. He plays all this. He plays the harmonica, plays the piano. But essentially, he's been a musician for years. He is an alcoholic. He's got his own demons. But essentially, he and Sammy, again, who is the cousin of Smoke and Stack, have a conversation. Before, I guess, to themselves, I guess, as they're rehearsing. And Delta Slim says to Sammy, this wasn't forced on us like the religion. This is something that we brought here. And he's talking about the music. He's talking about the music, right? Now, there is a juxtaposition of African religions, old African religions, customs, traditions, nomenclatures, versus Christianity. There is that is a part of the movie. I didn't necessarily focus on that. I got what they were trying to say. I didn't necessarily focus on that. I can understand how it might be, it might concern some folks. But the movie is so well done that it's almost a backdrop, right? The scenery is outstanding. The scenery is vast. The camera work that was done, the way that the film was shot was spectacular. There's a scene in the beginning of the movie where Smoke passes Stack a cigarette, and they probably had to shoot that thing 1,000 times to get it right, because essentially what it is it's robotic cameras that are firing so many whatever revolutions of film at so many seconds per minute. And what they did is they took his image and put it on top of the stunt doubles or the body doubles, and I guess just merged them together. But it was done in such a way that it looks natural, because it's one person passing a cigarette to himself, but it doesn't look that way. That's the care, that's the granular focus that it took to make this movie. There are vast shots from the cotton fields that kind of give you just the vastness of these fields and essentially what the day was like for people working in the fields back then, right? And it's a focus of the story. But anyway, the reason I'm coming to you today is there's a very clear and public criticism of this movie that I just saw today from a, let's say, former sports analyst that could not be further from the truth. Couldn't be further from the truth. Now, I'm going to be careful how I word it here, because I just need to be careful how I word it. But the bottom line is the antagonists in this movie are essentially the vampires and a very public group of, shall we say, motivated folks who wear cloaks for obvious purposes, right? Essentially, one guy sells them Smoke and Stack, the juke joint, and he does so with nefarious purposes. So he's an antagonist, and obviously the vampires are antagonists. But in no way does this film generalize one group of people and or come after them. Now, if you're smart, you'll know what I'm saying. You'll know who the analyst is. You'll know why I'm saying it. Okay? But the bottom line is his characterization of this movie is so off base, it's criminal. It is criminal at how off base and off beat this analyst's characterization of this movie is. It is ridiculous. It is almost an attack. Okay? If you haven't seen the movie, go and see it and do the homework for yourself. Again, I'm not going to say the person's name, but he is a former ESPN analyst, and he is also not favored or not well liked by Stephen A. Smith and some other folks who used to work with him. That should give you an idea of who this person is. I just saw this story today. I don't know when it was released, but his description of the movie it's untrue. It's the only thing I can say. It's untrue. It's untrue. It's so off base. I don't even know that he watched the movie. Nothing could be further from the truth. This is a story, number one, of two brothers trying to make something, trying to make an opportunity up for themselves, trying to build something in their community for a people who are downtrodden by a system, for a people who are at the bottom of the boot of a system. They're essentially trying to build a place that gives these folks somewhere to go. They're trying to give hope to these people. And for this guy to mischaracterize that, it's criminal. Okay? If you've ever seen the movie Django, and you know who Samuel L's character is, there you go. That's how bad of a mischaracterization this is. This was a wonderful movie. Wonderful from the standpoint of the music in it, because the music is transcendent. And you do feel it from your seat when you're watching this movie. You feel something passing through you. You feel like you are a part of something. And it's true. This movie was not attacking any particular group of folks. It was stating the time. And if you are aware of your historical references and you know the 1930s, I don't have to say anything else. Again, I'm being vague for a reason. But the bottom line is, to mischaracterize that movie, it's I wonder, how do you sleep at night? Again, I'm not going to say the guy's name. If you know Stephen A, and you know Stephen A's number one enemy, then you know who this person is. But he essentially released a review of this movie that, again, could not be further from the truth. If this movie were a Picasso, this guy just threw red paint all over it. That's how bad his description of this. And I understand that art is subjective. I get that. I get that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But you can't lie. And you can't be so obtuse. You can't be so removed. You can't be so disinformed that you misinterpret this movie. Again, I'm talking about the movie Sinners. I'm talking about this particular analyst's description of it. Yes, Chris. Yes, absolutely. I'm trying to be careful, but that is the individual. And his description of this movie, it's almost criminal, right? It's almost like saying, oh, the color purple it's ridiculous. This is a movie that is essentially saying that, look, you have to build up your communities. That's a part of the message, is you have to build up your communities. This movie essentially chronicles the diaspora of African Americans from Africa to here, and the fact that we brought certain things with us. And the fact that there are certain things that just resonate with certain people. And our musical exploits can sometimes act as conduits. That's essentially what it's saying. It's not attacking any group of people. It's not doing that. And this movie isn't being consumed by just one particular demographic. It's loved by the masses. And again, I understand that we have our own opinions. I get it. I get that. But your opinion should be rooted in fact. And for him to take this stance, it's troubling. It truly is troubling. So again, I'm trying to be careful with what I say for obvious reasons. But the bottom line is this: if you have not seen Sinners, go see it for yourself. Do not take this individual's word. Regardless of your background, regardless of your origin on this planet, go see it. Evaluate it for yourself. It is one of the best movies that I've ever seen. I've seen it twice. I plan on going back to see it a third time. It's poignant. It's relevant. It's needed. It is needed. And it's not attacking a group of people. It's uplifting a group of people. It's chronicling the struggles of a group of people. It's offering hope to all of us. Because again, like Martin Luther King said, if there's injustice anywhere, there's injustice everywhere. Because today it's me, tomorrow it's you. But the bottom line is, the movie's incredible. It is incredible. I cannot impress upon you. There's so many storylines that could come out of that movie, but I don't feel safe in necessarily getting into it here. Now, we will do a review of this film on Saturday, and we'll get deep into it. But I felt the need to share with everyone viewing this, everyone watching this. This is a great film. This is not a malicious film. This film does not attack any set of people. This film speaks to what it was like to be African American in the 1930s. And if you don't know, you should look it up. Because clearly the analyst, whoever made the statement, and again, I'm trying to be vague, doesn't know what it was like to be African American in the 1930s. Because if he did, he would not make such a stupid and colossally inaccurate statement. All right? Okay. I've reached my point. We'll review this on my channel on Saturday. Again, that is the number 4, my ATL Sports, the number 1 on YouTube. Again, the number 4, my ATL Sports, the number 1 on YouTube. So check us out this Saturday.